She tilted her head like I was a punchline that refused to land, a smirk across her lips. And in that second I knew the night wouldn't forgive me. I'm Adrian, 26, the man who finished business school believing love was a contract you honor. Vanessa, 24, worked part-time as a barista while finishing a communications degree. People drifted toward her like easy music. I drifted too. After 2 years, we moved in, and I brought home a golden retriever named Leo. Back then, life had the warm blur of a first summer. Promises, early alarms, shared keys in one bowl. I kept the lease in my name. I signed for her car because she needed help, and I wanted to be needed. She would brush past me in the kitchen, sunlight on her shoulders, kiss my jaw and murmur, "You spoil me." I did. I wanted the future to feel inevitable. But seasons change quietly. Lately, she lived behind passwords and new habits. The phone face down, notifications silenced, laughter that didn't belong to our apartment. "You're imagining things," she'd say, slipping on a cardigan like armor. I told myself it was stress, burnout, whatever grown-ups call it when they stop touching. Leo waited by the door like a clock that could judge. Friday night, I came home early with a simple peace plan, a dumb comedy. An order from that Italian place she loved, maybe her head on my shoulder until the credits rolled. The rooms felt hollow, like someone had borrowed the walls. No message. Midnight passed. At 2:14, the lock turned and Vanessa stepped in wearing a black dress and the kind of heels that say don't ask. Mascara blurred, hair messy in the way you pay for. She blinked at me, surprised, not sorry. "You're still up? Didn't think you—" "Where were you?" I asked. My voice sounded rented. "Out," she said, rolling her eyes. "What, you want to play-by-play?" I didn't move. She let out a breathy laugh, the final straw dressed as music, and shrugged. "Fine, I slept with someone. Happy now?" The room didn't spin. I did. Not rage, not theater. Clarity. Cold, sharp, surgical clarity. I picked up my keys and Leo's gaze followed me like a question. "Adrian," she said, almost amused. "Where are you going?" I answered by leaving. The diner down the street kept its promise of fluorescent honesty. I ordered coffee that tasted like burnt apologies and opened my phone. 3 hours of arithmetic. Cancel the card I co-signed. Freeze the shared account. Schedule the utilities to die with the lease. Draft the 30-day notice. Book a moving truck. Not for me. Sunrise painted the sidewalks a tired gold when I came back. Vanessa was asleep, unbothered, the ceiling fan carving slow circles. By 10, I'd set everything in motion. She woke to my calm the way people wake to alarms. 4 weeks, I said, to find a new place. "I'm ending the lease. Utilities stop the day I move." Her mouth opened, then closed. "But where am I supposed to go?" "I don't know," I said. "Also, the car's in my name. Keys by Sunday." Her eyes shone, finally. "Adrian, please. Can we just talk?" Leo rested his chin on my foot, the room suddenly honest. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't touch her shoulder. "There are moments you stop auditioning for the part of the man who forgives. This isn't revenge," I said softly. "It's the end of pretending." She stared at me like a magician had ruined her favorite trick. I went to the doorway and looked back once. The suitcase she never unpacked was already telling her what to do. Outside, traffic hummed like a verdict. The coffee from the diner still burned a thin line down my throat. I thought of the laugh she gave me at 2:14, and of the man I had been before it. The apartment felt small, like a shirt I'd outgrown. I tightened my grip on the keys and heard the smallest sound behind me. Vanessa whispering my name. "Adrian." I didn't turn around. Not yet. She didn't move out that day. Real life doesn't fall like a guillotine. It frays. The next morning, she brewed coffee like nothing had cracked, scrolling in the kitchen while I scheduled shut-off dates and forwarded my mail. Leo watched us from his mat. When Vanessa asked if we could reset, the word sounded like a password she hadn't earned. I told her the reset already happened. It just didn't include us. She stared at the list on the fridge and looked away. I kept breathing and kept counting. The weeks were measured in logistics. I emailed the landlord the 30-day notice and got the confirmation, called the bank to verify the freeze, and stacked our bills on the dining table. She tried 3 strategies in rotation: guilt, anger, then sweetness. "You're being cruel, Adrian. You're overreacting. Can we just watch something and forget this?" Every time I offered the same answer, the keys by Sunday and 4 weeks to leave. At night, she paced and texted paragraphs from the couch even though I sat 10 feet away. The words blurred into apologies with holes in them. It didn't mean anything. I was lonely. You were married to your spreadsheets. She cried in the bathroom with the water running. I let the apartment be a witness. I started jogging again, a loop around the block that wrung out some of the noise. I slept on the far edge of the bed with Leo curled against my calves, warm proof of uncomplicated loyalty. My closest friends said I was doing the right thing. Hers arrived in glossy waves, messages that sounded composed by committee. Be kind. Everyone makes mistakes. One even tried a legal threat. I sent the lease page and stopped replying. Vanessa posted a smiling photo 2 days later captioned, "Healing." I scrolled past it and felt relief. By the second week, the practical mattered more than the past. I boxed my books, folded suits I hadn't worn since interviews, and sold the dining chairs to a neighbor who said they were mid-century. Vanessa started stacking her things too. Hairdryer, crystals, a framed quote that suddenly felt like a dare. She tested new versions of herself daily, contrite, furious, detached. Each night, she left the spare key on the counter, then pocketed it again. On Wednesday, she asked about the car in a voice that tried for neutral. What happens if I don't bring the keys? The police get a call, and the lender knows where it is, I said. No theatrics. She nodded, then opened her mouth, closed it, and walked to the window. Leo thumped his tail once, the kind of punctuation that saves a sentence from needing explanation. Friday came. She placed the keys on the table at 6:03 p.m., as if accuracy could rewrite intention. I thanked her. We didn't touch. She switched to nostalgia. Old photos appeared on the counter, little altars to different versions of us. The beach day, the first apartment, the night we bought Leo's bowl. We were happy, she said. We were younger, I answered. She told me I was punishing her. I told her I was protecting myself. She whispered that the man didn't matter, then said his name like it might. Evan. I learned nothing I needed to keep. The moving truck was booked for the 28th morning. I scheduled the cleaners, the final inspection, the utility shut-off to follow like dominoes. At 2:53 a.m., 3 days before the move, my phone lit with a number I didn't know and a sentence. You should hear my side. The screen went dark, then bright again. She laughed at me too. I sat up, heart dialing itself. Leo lifting his head. I saved the number without a name and typed one word, when? Then deleted it. The apartment held its breath. From the hallway, a floorboard sighed and Vanessa's door clicked. I could have woken her and asked for the truth, but the truth already lived with us and slept fine. I set the phone face down and waited for morning. At 7, a heavy knock rattled the door. Not the movers, too early. Vanessa called from the bedroom, voice tight. Adrian, someone's here for you. The knock came again, firm and patient, as if it already knew the answer. I opened the door to a man about my age, clean shirt, eyes like someone who hadn't slept. He said, I'm Evan. The name fell into the apartment like a stone in still water. Vanessa froze in the hallway, one hand on the frame. Leo sat up and watched. I texted you last night, he said. I shouldn't be here, but you deserve the full picture. His glance slid to the fridge where my lists were taped like a case file. She told me you were controlling, that you didn't care. Vanessa stepped forward. Evan, stop. He flinched, then steadied. I didn't invite him in. I didn't raise my voice. Say what you came to say, he swallowed. I was never supposed to be anything but convenient. Every time I asked what we were, she laughed. He looked at Leo as if the dog could translate us into something simpler. The night she told you the truth, she told me a different one. Said you'd never leave. Vanessa's mouth tightened. This is cruel. I felt strangely free, like someone had opened a window. Evan exhaled. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to return what isn't mine. He held up a key, ours, a copy cut between lies and timing, set it on the entry table, and stepped back. I'm done. His eyes met mine. A small apology passed between strangers who believed in the same wrong thing. He turned to go, then paused. For what it's worth, she laughed at me too. The door closed softly behind him. Silence rearranged the furniture. Vanessa folded her arms and stared at the key like it had betrayed her. "Happy?" she asked. "No," I said. "Just finished." Her face crumpled and rebuilt itself. "I made a mistake." "You made a choice." She paced to the window and back, barefoot on cool wood. "You can't throw me away." "I'm not," I said. "I'm putting myself back." We divided the last small things that pretend to be big. The plant that liked one corner, tourist mugs, the blue blanket that knew our sleep. She took the frames. I kept the photos. I boxed 2 wine glasses separately. "Why those?" she asked. "Because they don't belong to a memory." I scheduled the cleaners and the final inspection, forwarded my mail, confirmed the shut-off dates like dominoes. At 6:03 p.m., she set the car keys on the table as if accuracy could rewrite intention. I thanked her. We didn't touch. She turned to me at last. "Do you hate me?" A younger me would have answered too fast. "I don't," I said. "But I don't love you anymore." Tears slid without ceremony. "Is there someone else?" "Yes," I said. "There's me." Leo pressed his shoulder against my shin, and a men in fur. The truck door slammed, and the street swallowed the sound. She asked if forgiveness was possible later. "Forgiveness opens inward first," I said. "I'm not there." She nodded like someone reading instructions in a language she almost knew. We stood in the hallway where we once argued about paint colors and laughed about nothing. Now it was just a corridor where goodbye could walk. Inside, the apartment was more air than objects. I returned the modem, sent the final emails, and set a new alarm that belonged only to me. I took Leo for a walk. The morning smelled like rain that hadn't happened yet. Back home, we sat on the floor. My phone buzzed, one message from an unknown number. 2 words, "Thank you." I typed 3 back, "True. We're done here." I set the phone down. I didn't know if it was from Evan, the lender, or a friend. It didn't matter. I breathed, counted 4 beats in and 4 out, and let the message mean only what it said. I checked the peephole, saw no one, and waited. The second knock carried a different patience, the kind that asks a question you can't ignore. Leo lifted his head, ears forward, as if the air itself were deciding something, and the handle gave a slow, deliberate turn.